And welcome everybody to another Game Changers. We are very excited to be joined by Jorge Capestany and Kalindi Dinoffer, of course, our CMO for On-Court, Off-Court. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Billy, for hosting as always, and thanks so much, Jorge, for joining. I've been excited about this one for a while.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to connect with y'all.
Absolutely. And if you guys are familiar with our channel, you probably have noticed Jorge on quite a few of the on-court, off-court videos, especially the Affinity Play system and some of the other stuff. Jorge's been kind enough to demo and use a lot of our stuff in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have, as a sneak preview, we'll be releasing a bunch of awesome pickleball videos that Jorge kindly filmed with our products, in the coming weeks or months, depending on when you watch this video, if it's live or a little bit after the fact. Those will be, I think we're going to be releasing them weekly. So excited about that. And yeah, Jorge, you've been such an amazing partner to us over the years and are doing such great things in the industry.
Well, thank you, guys.
I'm always interested because, doing these shows with Kalindi and Joe, and they just have so many great relationships and have, met people in so many different ways. Jorge, how did you get into the on-court, off-court world and the relationship?
Sure.
How did that all start?
Yeah, so I met Joe. We became friends decades ago, and really the first time he came into my orbit was he would go to tennis conventions, which I attended many of them, and he would have a booth typically, and he had different products, and he was often a speaker at these same conferences, and he was tagging along with this little young 6-year-old girl named Kalindi, and we kind of connected because we're a couple old tennis dudes, and I have a daughter that's roughly Kalindi's age, so I would bring my daughter, and I don't know if you remember that, Kalindi, but I think you guys probably don't remember too much, but you would be here, shortly, for 5 minutes at this convention. Then we'd see each other in, Orlando, and then we'd see each other in Chicago. So that's how I got to know him. And then, of course, we're both involved with USPTA and PTR. Both Joe and I are master professionals with both, so we have extra meetings on top of that. And he and I are both kind of have an entrepreneurial spirit. He started his company On-Court, Off-Court. I still manage a tennis center, but I have my own company, Capestany Racket Sports, which has websites for tennis players and pickleball players. And then years ago, I don't know if Kalindi even knows this, I used to own this t-shirt company called Havana Bob's Tennis Shirts. And it was like 150 pre-made designs, and a tennis tournament could say, hey, I like that design, but let's change the name to this. And we started that, and that was the first time I collaborated with Joe. He said, well, why don't I send out, that to my subscribers or my list, and then we have some crossover, and we're in the same space, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of teaching aids. I've been teaching tennis and now pickleball. Really, tennis started 42 years ago, and I've coached at all levels. So I love teaching aids, always have, and if I can get a little thing that helps someone get better or get the idea, I'm on it. So I own a whole lot of your products. And then more recently, when I started the websites, I said, I really, want to have our subscribers be able to see all these products. They're probably buying them anyway. So you guys were kind enough to set up a deal with us where our customers get a discount. If you're a subscriber, then that's great because I get to see all that's there. So I think that's how Joe and I kind of met, and that probably literally was 30 years ago.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's good. I didn't know about the t-shirt company.
Yeah.
Story, so that's so fun. And yeah, I mean, it's that's one thing I feel like I really appreciate about like the like tennis and now pickleball industry, because of course pickleball there wasn't as much happening with that 30 years ago, and On-Court, Off-Court's 30 years old. So it sounds like you and my dad met pretty much from when he first started off On-Court, Off-Court. And I don't specifically remember being 5 and meeting your daughter, but I wish I did because that sounds really cool.
I don't know if you recall this, but one of your dad's first products that I was interested in is it was like tips, and it would literally, I would subscribe to this service, and he would send me a physical cassette tape, literally a physical cassette tape, where he had recorded a bunch of ideas. And this is how much I love to get education. I'm like, I'm doing it. And I signed up, and I don't know, even though they came monthly or bi-monthly, and I'd plug it into my car and listen. Oh, that's a great idea. No, that's a great idea. So obviously now that can all be done online, but yeah, that was really cool. And that, you know, he's kind of a early adopter of all that stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that, because that was I remember like he would go into, this was, you know, way back in the early days. So it was on-court, off-court was happening out of our house. There was a front room that the 14-year-old accountant would come into, and my dad would record this. You know, it was basically a podcast, but podcasts didn't exist back then. Coach Tennis America, he would go into like his closet because, you know, it was quieter there. Yep. And I did record it like late at night and stuff, because I imagine it's hard to record a podcast when you have I guess at that point, I was probably very, very little. And yeah, I think it was monthly, or it was pretty frequent. And yeah, he would go to the conventions, take the notes, like all these things. And yeah, we have the like original copy of all the cassettes. And it's like, wow, that's
classic, man. It's really good.
Yeah, he's always ahead of his time, Joe. That was a great concept. Well, Jorge, how about you? You know, how you avid tennis player and tournament coach, all that stuff. What was your origin story with tennis? When did you get into the sport?
Well, I have a very unique story about entering tennis. So most people don't know this, but I was born in Havana, Cuba, in 1962, and that was right during the crazy times in Cuba. And my parents brought me when I was just a baby. We got out, and most Cubans that left in 60, 61, 62, we left thinking that they were going to go back. It's just a matter of waiting for Castro to be overthrown or something, and we're going to go back. Well, they never really assimilated us kids. So I had a brother that was 8 and 9, and I was just a baby, and we all came. And literally, we just hung out with other Cubans waiting. And then now 5 years goes by, and I have to go to school, and I don't even speak English. And, you know, my name, Jorge, I used to always wanted to be called George. And still, people that know me from the old days still call me George, which I will answer to. But I refer to myself as Jorge. That's my given name. And I know my mom and dad, who are passed now, they never really loved it that I wouldn't call myself Jorge. But I was getting picked on when I was young because I didn't speak that great, and I had a weird name. So that landed me in Hudsonville, Michigan. We were sponsored by a church in Western Michigan. And I never had tennis on my radar. I played all the other sports with my buddies in the neighborhood. You know, football, basketball, and baseball. Those were the 3 sports I played, organized. And then when I was in 8th grade, a family moved in to Hudsonville, and they were really good football players. They had twin boys that became my best friends, and they were tennis players, and their dad was the football coach and the tennis coach. And that was when they got me on the court, and I'm like, tennis? No way. This is a wussy sport, I would say. But I had fun hitting it back and forth with my buddy, to the point where the next spring I thought, you know what, maybe I won't play baseball. I'll play tennis. As a freshman, I went out. I made the last spot on the varsity team. You know, I had no strokes. I just kind of ran pretty well and got a lot of balls back. So that was, and then I got a varsity letter. So boom, next thing you know, I like tennis. And then my buddies played. By the way, they were really good. Like one of the twins, Ray Bentley, played in the NFL for 13 years. He was like he played for the Buffalo Bills during the Super Bowls, and he was a starter. He wasn't like a bench warmer. So he played number 2 singles behind me on the tennis team. So I credit the Bentley family with introducing me to tennis. And then I had a really cool thing. And if you're a coach or even a student, this might resonate with you. So we were immigrants, right? The idea of paying for tennis lessons was not going to be something we could do. But I wanted to play. And I knew that not far from my town in Hudsonville, there was a club called Ramblewood. So I naively thought my sophomore year, like after football, I'm going to go see about playing indoor tennis. So I went there and I met the coach, Don Dickinson. And I said, yeah, you know, I'm from Hudsonville. I kind of want to know about playing. And he was telling me all the options, private lessons, group lessons. and it's all money. And I'm like, oh boy, but I was too embarrassed to say like, I can't afford it. So I was just like, okay, yeah, sure. Let me talk to my parents. And, and this is what's kind of like a really crazy story. But so I left. I was walking to the front door, leaving. In my brain, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be an option. And I quite literally had my hand on the front door to open it and walk out. And right when I grabbed the door, he goes, "Hey, Jorge," or like that was George, come back here. So come back a minute. So I went back and he sat me back down in his office and he says, "Why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself?" So I think he kind of figured something was up with my face or whatever. So I said, "Well, I didn't want to say we're poor, but I said, I don't know, it's great. I just want to play. I really might not be able to do this. I don't think my parents would want me to take lessons, blah, blah." So he said, "I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll give you what's called a walk-on pass. So for $20 a month, you can walk on any court that's open, but you can't book it even like an hour in advance. You got to physically be present. And if it's open, you can take it and it's free." And I said, boom, I'll do it. So me and this friend of mine, also in the same boat, didn't have a lot of money. After school, we'd go over there and we get there by 3 p.m. And usually at 3 to 4, we could play. I mean, we played every day. I didn't have any coaching. I just played sets. That's all I knew to do. I played that same freaking guy 15 sets a week for like years. And the coach saw that. And then at 4 o'clock, the junior program would come in. Chris and I would go do our homework in the lobby. And then at 6 p.m., the juniors were out, and then the quote unquote old people would come in for their permanent court times in leagues. And then we'd go up to the front desk. "Hey, did everybody show up?" "Yeah, they showed up." 7 o'clock, go back. "Hey, did everybody show up?" "Well, court eight's not here." Then we'd run down there real quick. So we ended up getting a fair amount of court time just by being club rats and hanging out and doing our homework and running up there whenever someone didn't show. Well, the coach saw how committed we were, and then he was interested in helping us, which really changed the trajectory of my life. He would say, "Okay, Jorge, how about this? I know you can't do the group lessons, but if you are willing to sweep the courts in the morning, I'll give you a day of clinics. You got to come in and sweep them Monday, Wednesday, Friday." And I said, boom, I'll do it. So that's how I got my first group lesson. And I tried really hard and I enjoyed it. And then he said, "Hey, if you will water the clay courts in the summer at night, I can get you some programming over the summer. And then if you can string, I can give you some." So I got all these little jobs: stringing, cleaning the toilets, sweeping the courts, watering the clay courts. And it got me to play. I was playing multiple times a week in group lessons. Never had a private, really ever in my life. So then I started getting pretty good, and I literally blessed that guy, because if he wouldn't have, maybe 10 seconds later, if I was in the parking lot leaving, I probably would have not been all that serious about tennis or fell in love with it or started it as a career. Maybe I met my wife on a tennis court, quite literally. She was on the court adjacent to me the first time I laid my eyes on her. That would have never happened. So crazy way how we started, but that's my story. And then I got my doubles partner hired me. He was 2 years older. My college doubles partner, when I was done with college, he said, "Hey, you want to teach tennis?" And I thought, I don't think so. I was teaching tennis, putting myself through college. And he said, "You should try it." So I tried it for a year, and it went really well, and I enjoyed it. And I took that job thinking I'd do it for a year or maybe 2. And then here I am 42 years later, still in that industry. So yeah. And then as you know, I started these websites, started speaking at conferences. I've always been pretty good with tennis drills, and that's kind of became my niche of what people think I'm good at anyway. So I started speaking at these conferences on drills, like here's how you move a bunch of people around and make it fun. And then more speaking opportunities came, and then international speaking opportunities came, and then the website came, and then so it just kind of rolled. And now it's great because I've been able to travel, not like Joe to 500 countries, but I've been to China, to Australia, and Norway, and London, and Mexico, and all kinds of places, talking to other tennis coaches, almost always on drills, but about whatever. And it's really fun. So Now I'm at Hope College, where I'm the manager of the club, and I run my 2 websites, and I also operate a professional tennis management program where college kids go to do whatever degree they want in college, but then they get this teaching certificate, and we're trying to enter more coaches into our orbit, into our industry. We just renamed PTM to RSM, Racket Sports Management now. It's no longer professional. And that was super evident that, in this space, we have to have, the kids have to know how to teach pickleball at a minimum alongside tennis. Otherwise, they're not getting the job that someone else might.
That's amazing. I love that story. And
Don Dickinson, man, he saved my life.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Jorge. I was just gonna say, just really cool to hear. I love hearing like origin stories.
Yeah, it's amazing because it is a lot of times it's like a direction. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? But fortune seems to benefit the bold, and so it seemed like you were willing to keep walking forward and see what happened. And I think the doors open for you.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask a little bit. You've mentioned a few different times how the drills were, kind of like your thing. How did it become your thing? Was that something that you did yourself first? Like, when you had this kind of, you're not getting private coaching, so then you're trying to figure out what to do. Was that something that you picked up in those early days where you would kind of go through the reps of certain drills when you had a moment, or how did that kind of go?
Well, it's a great question, because what really happened was I would go to these conferences all the time. So I was heavy on the court. I taught 40 hours a week, sometimes 45, and I did that for decades. Joe taught me a trick of like, you should try to calculate how many hours you've taught in your life, and it's over 65,000 hours, just because you do it for long enough. But so because I was on the court so much, a new drill for me was gold. And I thought I had pretty good drills, but something new was like a piece of gold to me. So I'd go to these conferences, PTR, USTA Tennis Teachers Conference, USPTA back in the day. And really the number one thing I was hoping for is some new drill ideas, because when I went home, I wasn't in the office that much. I was on the court a lot. And sometimes I would get a few ideas, but a lot of times I wouldn't get hardly any. Or there'd be like a famous name, like so-and-so from such and such academy, we're going to talk about drills. And I'd show up, man, I got my piece of paper and I'm ready to, and they would just tell stories. I'm like, I didn't get one usable drill out of it. So I started to, in the evaluations of these conferences, I'd always say, hey, we need more stuff on the court for drills. We need more drills. We need more drills. And there wasn't that much of a change, to be honest. So then I started approaching the PTR, USPTA and saying, hey, I was kind of pestering them, guys, you need more drills. Everybody here wants drills. If you have one drill thing, like it's fully attended, it's like the most attended thing. Come on, figure it out. And I think I pestered them enough where they said, well, why don't you present on drills? And I said, I will do that. It ain't going to help me that much because I already know my drills. I want other people's drills, but I'll do it because I think you need it. And I remember the very first time, it was like another trajectory change in my life. I spoke, it was the USPTA World Conference. I don't know what year it was, around early 2001, 2002, somewhere there. I know it was in Vegas. And my drill presentation was titled Drills, Drills, Drills. It's a super creative name. And what I wanted to do, like I thought, okay, what do I want to do? I've been in the seat a lot, but what I would love is for some dude or some dudette to show me a drill, get to the point, finish in 2 or 3 minutes, and show me another one. I don't need you to belabor the drill and get, for 20 minutes. I want to have lots of ideas because chances are I already know some of them and some others will be new. So my goal was to get through a minimum of 12 drills. So I'd be averaging 3 minutes a drill. And I would start out by saying, okay, this drill is a baseline drill and it solves this problem. Let's show it. And then I would show it and I'd feed it and I had pretty good energy and it was usually pretty fun, and say, all right, that's it. So make sure when you do it, you do this. Okay, next drill. This one is now for people that get lobbed to death. So it's an overhead drill. Let me show you how to set it up, show it up, demo it. And I was just going quickly. And little did I know that after that, you know how it is when you speak at a convention, Kalindi, there's always a handful of people that want to come up and talk to you afterwards and say, hey, thank you. But I literally had like 30 people standing in front of me wanted to talk. And I'm like, what are these people? So immediately that day, they were like, oh, the other cool thing is that for some reason, I was the only speaker for that hour, which I don't think, and it was an encore thing. So I had full attendance. So next thing you know, I'm getting invited to speak in NorCal and so in Southern, and I'm like, how does this work? Do you want me to come speak? Does people get paid for this? Do I have to take time off work? When is it? So I started taking a lot of these speaking gigs, and everywhere I went, people were loving. I don't know honestly, if it's just my drills. I think my drills are above average, but I think most coaches don't have that much creativity when it comes to drills, and they're kind of stuck using the same 5 drills like for decades. So when they get all these new ideas, it kind of makes it fun. I'm going to go back and try that one. So that just kind of started rolling, and then I had the website, and then it was bonkers. So I still think, when people think about tennis drills, especially if you're a coach, my name's the one that comes to mind just because I've been at it for a while. And that's kind of how it all started. It was just by me pestering people because I wanted it for myself.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how it usually works, right? The problem you're out there trying to look to get solved, you're the solution.
Yeah.
I can now see this connection between you and Joe, right? Because you got you on the drill side, and then Joe's like, I joke around, I call it the doohickey, right? It's like, oh, how do I fix that thing? Well, let me strap the Velcro here and do this, but then you need to have the repetitions, the drills that then get the muscle memory, the support. So I'm sure you guys had a lot of kind of like back and forth with a kinesthetic tool that supports the drill, and so I'm assuming you use a fair amount of on-court, off-court training aids in some of these drills. Is that true?
Literally dozens of them. I don't have like a handful. I got dozens and dozens of them. Everything. One of the ones that I love the most, which is probably like one of the cheapest and at least physically, it's the arrow. There's a tennis version and a pickleball version. So when people make a shot and it goes somewhere, they're like, why'd it go over there? If they have that little arrow and it just kind of points wherever the bed of the racket face is, I mean, it solves it for them. Like, where did it go? In the net. Okay, aim your arrow down into the net. Okay, that's how you were when you hit it. Oh, such a simple foam tool, but that's I use that thing weekly. And for teaching beginners especially, and now there's a pickleball version, which I love because I can slip it on a pickleball paddle. It teaches them the same thing. So, and obviously there's more robust, ones and smaller trinkets, but I love the rope zone. I mean, the rope zone to me has got to be one of the best teaching aids ever. And of course, all the line, I don't even know. I probably have 2 billion lines because I lined everything off all the time, and the cones and the stuff like that. But, I learned a long time ago from my old manager, actually, like he said, we would put our little kids programming right on the front court. So as all these moms would walk in and go over to the aerobics area or the workout area, they'd walk by, and we always had our little kids program right out there because a lot of them didn't know we had tennis for little kids. But he was a big believer in like, you got to make it look like a carnival. It can't just be a bunch of kids in the line. So we're going to have hoops and ladders and jump over this and a flag over there and a ball over there and a little thing that jingles, so that when moms go by, they're walking by, and the whole time they're looking like, what the heck is all that? They might stop and go, that kid looks like it's my kid's age, maybe. Next thing you know, they're asking. So just, even if it doesn't help your tennis, it could help your business by just having the appearance something more attractive and more fun than just like an empty tennis court with a bunch of yellow balls and people in line.
Yeah,
I'm sure it keeps the kids more engaged, though.
Oh yeah, it helps them for sure.
I think lines are my dad's biggest pet peeve. It's like there's no need to. There's never a need to have a line.
Yeah, now with all the quote unquote modern way to teach kids, young kids tennis with the modified equipment and the scaling and the balls that are proper.
Totally.
I mean, it's
totally. And it is so much more fun because it's like, it's also like, it's about like, okay, if you're thinking of the little kids and, introducing them to a fun sport, like it's about them having fun and wanting to like come back and, be able to enjoy this amazing sport of a lifetime. And they're not going to want to come back if they're just like bored and not able to succeed. And yeah.
So guys, I have a question for you, because you're a little bit like me. I was in the tennis space pretty exclusively, kind of like what you guys were. And then, you know, so now I'm into pickleball. I'm a certified pickleball coach. I have a pickleball website and a lot. So here's kind of what happened to me. About 4 years ago, I have about 2,000 tennis subscribers on my Tennis Drills website. And I'll show you all here in a minute how you can get some of this stuff for free. But the Tennis Drills website's been around since 2008. It's pretty robust. I got corporate deals with all the big companies, all the Drysdale coaches, all the Burwash coaches, all the Midtown coaches, all the Genesis. So there's hundreds in those accounts. And then there's a couple thousand more that just join as individuals. But a lot of these tennis coaches were asking me maybe 4 years ago, a handful, like, you going to have pickleball drills on here? And I go, I don't think so. And then 3 years ago, more asked, and 2 years ago, a lot of them asked, and last year, 1 million of them asked, and they weren't asking; they were like asking, like, when. Excuse me. So I decided, you know, I probably should have some pickleball stuff. And then the other thing that happened, it dawned on me how much these PTM students at my college were needing to know pickleball, and a lot of them didn't, because I think I told you before we went live. We placed 10 kids in summer internships at country clubs and tennis clubs last summer, and 9 out of 10 were asked in their interview, are you able to teach pickleball? So it's really important. Now, I'm sure there's places where you go and there's no pickleball, you're just a tennis only guy, but that's changing quite a bit. You're expected to do both. So, so I mentally thought, okay, I guess I probably should do pickleball. And then my first thought was, I'll just put it on Tennis Drills, because I don't want to create a whole other site and all that hassle of doing that. And then all my experts told me, don't put pickleball drills on your tennis website. Pickleball people won't like that. And people, you'll never do it. I said, well, I don't want to do another website. How about if I do like UTR, you go to tennisdrills.tv and there's a button that says pickleball and one that says, you know, so you can do that. No, you're still sending them to Tennis Drills. So I finally, 6 months after, I kind of conceded, okay, yeah, if I do it, it should probably be its own site. And then I had to go out and create it. So that was, you know, we launched just a couple months ago with 400 different pickleball drills. And the difference between the pickleball drill website and the Tennis Drills website is the Tennis Drills website is really for coaches. Tennis players don't really subscribe to that website.
Yeah.
But the pickleball website, knowing what I know now, I made it literally for players and coaches. So you could find drills for just 2 people, me and Kalindi want to work out, or I want to do a lesson with 4 of my students. What can I do? So yeah, I know that your business, you know, I could just look at your website and how much more now you have, and probably the same thing. A lot of your customers are like, hey, I'm doing this now, and how can I do it? So whenever you're ready, I can show people where they can get a bunch of free stuff, both tennis drills wise, and then should I show that now?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me share my screen. And the first screen you see here is tennisdrills.tv. And if you go to tennisdrills.tv, across the top menu here, you'll see this thing that says free tennis drills. And if you click that, you see that it loads up 3 drills that are serve related, 3 more that are singles, 3 more that are doubles, 3 more for little kids, 3 more that are like for large groups, and they're all there. You can watch these without anything. You don't have to do an email. You don't have to give me anything. You go here and you watch it, and you can watch it big, obviously. I'll mute it because you don't have to listen to it, but it's just an idea. A lot of the stuff you see here would be like for up to 6 people. Let me mute that. But obviously an individual can do it. Here's just a serve number game that I invented that kind of helps people determine their accuracy or lack thereof. That's just one drill out of 15 that they can swipe. If you want a return drill, if you want that. The other cool thing on this site is if you go again to the upper menu bar and you do free tennis courses, it's going to load up 3 different courses. This one is an awesome one. That's my mental toughness series. So if you ever struggle with that, it's like when you go inside a course, now it's not necessarily a drill. It looks like this. There's a 70-page ebook there. And here's 4 videos of me talking about the fear of losing, closing out matches, the importance of your inner voice, coaching and nerves, or choking and nerves. And that's literally a free course that someone could watch today, again, without opting in or doing anything. And there's more of those. Agility drill. Here's my buddy, Dr. Mark Kovacs, which I know you guys know. He's literally the sports scientist of the world for tennis. And his course is all about, agility. And you go on the court with him, not me. He's the expert. He's coached, Tiafo and Sloane Stevens and Isner. And there's cone drills in here. There's line drills. There's some agility drills I came up with. So that's all there. So I just want to tell you, if you want some free content, you don't have to join. You can go to tennisdrills.tv, and those 2 buttons will get you there. Now, if you're like, well, I also play pickleball, well, I got you covered there too. If you go to pickleballdrillshq.com, you'll see in the upper menu a button right there that says free pickleball drills. And if you go here, you can see there's these are all serve return drills. Here's some dink drills. Here's some, what are these? These are volley drills, and then some baseline drills. And again, they're all, totally, I'll just open one. You can watch them full screen. And here's a cool place. By the way, this stadium that I get to film at, guys, this is like, this is Center Court, Championship Court at Daytona. They have 49 courts here near my home in Daytona. Look at this place. The pros play in.
Wow, that's nice.
And I was so lucky to be able to get on this court. It's covered, so if it rains, I'm still covered. And this is just me doing a dink drill with a bunch of people. But again, all free, no opt-in. Go to Pickleball Drills HQ, hit that free Pickleball Drills button, and there's 15 free things sitting there for you. I'd love to have you use it if you think it would be great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I highly recommend, whether you're a tennis player or coach or pickleball player or coach, Jorge's drills are awesome. And I feel like that's just another area that we've always aligned in, because, at On Court Off Court, we've, of course, like this GameChangers video is going to be free. We've always prided ourselves on, the free education and access, in addition to, of course, we sell our products. And, Jorge, you're doing the same thing, which is amazing. Like, you have your membership site, which is amazing. And then also you're providing free content to people. So there's something for, for everyone. And yeah, what you were, talking about earlier with the tennis versus pickleball journey, it's definitely super interesting, because like in our journey was a little bit different in that we basically got into pickleball before it was a thing, basically because the USA Pickleball, at the time, the president of that body approached Joe, my dad, and was like, hey, because we make a really good portable tennis net, or maxi net. And he really liked that. We have a patent on it. He's like, can you make a pickleball net, a portable pickleball net? So we started making a portable pickleball net. And then things just sort of expanded from there. And I remember for a while, this was maybe like 15 years ago. And I remember even like, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, like it was almost like this secret thing. Like it was like, oh yeah, we're not going to put the pickleball stuff in the newsletter because, the tennis coaches, they're not going to like that. and then now it's almost like, I feel like it's flipped, where it's like tennis is like, yeah, okay, pickleball's here, and pickleball's like, well, you guys didn't like us. And I mean, not everyone. I'm like, yeah. I'm kind of joking. I'm joking around here. I'm not putting my foot in my mouth, but it's like, yeah, it's like, I feel like the pickleball world is like, hey, like, we're kind of like, we've made it, so like some respect, please. We don't just want to jump in with tennis. We're not like, the tennis's step sibling. We are our own sport. Like, so, I think that, and we don't, we kind of in a, we have tennis, and at this point, I feel like our website used to be like all tennis with a little pickleball. And at this point, it's pretty like there's tennis, there's pickleball, they're both on there. And, luckily our name, On Court Off Court, works well for multiple sports. So yes. I think we got really, really lucky there with that name. But we do have, we have our pickleballtutor.com website, which is a dedicated pickleball website. So
I have my own story around that. So, for me, I am a long time tennis guy, and I was never anti pickleball. As a matter of fact, I think it's kind of dumb to be anti pickleball. The way I say it is, you should be pro member. So if I'm at XYZ country club in whatever state, and my members want pickleball, I don't think that I should be like, no, you don't want it, Billy. You're not going to get. You're the member. You tell us what you want. But I'll tell you, I've since I started the pickleball website and I have Facebook stuff going on, I've had, probably 5 people who just, I mean, they go bonkers. They look at me as like I'm personally murdering tennis out back behind the shed and killing it. Like, how dare you? Of all people, and I'm like, whoa! I didn't leave tennis. I still manage a tennis center. My club is all tennis. I mean, it's huge. I have no tennis problems. If anything, we need more tennis space. But I get it. They might be stressed out about the real estate when tennis courts are converted to pickleball. That can be a bummer. But I also know that doesn't really happen wherever the tennis is rocking. This usually happens where the tennis is dead. Like in a lot of recreations here in my hometown, I can go around the parks in the summer and the tennis courts are dead. Unless there's a person in charge running programs, they're totally dead. So I don't think that's my fault. I didn't do it. If you go to my club, you'll see tennis is totally not dead. It's like booming. So, but it's kind of weird. And, some people are super happy. Oh my God, this is great. This is going to make my life better. Some people think I'm the devil because I even said the word pickleball and they can't even deal with it.
No, I'm sorry. Like I can definitely relate because we've definitely like had that as well. Like I feel like in the early stages of people knew on court, off court, like because you're only just doing this at this point. I think whether they like it or not, people have accepted that on court, off court does tennis and pickleball.
Yeah.
Among other things. But yeah, in the beginning stages, I feel like I definitely got some. I chair like a cool the Science of Pickleball series that
I love it.
Talking about like. Would share a video from that, which is like really cool and educational on the differences of tennis and pickleball. And it was almost like getting like hate mail, like, how could you do this?
Oh yeah. Well, even to this, we still even need to segment our newsletters. So, when we're sending out newsletters, we're looking at signals either of people who downloaded a pickleball thing, a tennis thing, bought a pickleball tennis product, and then we even ask, would you like tennis, pickleball, or both? And so, we're constantly managing the email list to make sure we're sending the right email to the right person, because we'll definitely get some emails back of, I'm not interested in this.
Right.
In that thing. Yeah, it's very, 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 very interesting. And it's kind of like, like when you were sharing your story with tennis and how, you met your wife through that, it's like, I feel very, I feel very, very lucky because, I feel like I've had so many blessings in my life because of tennis, including meeting my husband. And it's, it made me think when you were sharing your story, Jorge, I don't know if you were at the tennis congress. I think it was back in maybe 2021, I think, or 2019 or 2021 when Milena shared this because of tennis speech. And it was like, made me cry. It was so moving, and it was just like all these things, because of tennis. And I've always felt like tennis is this beautiful metaphor for life. So tennis is always going to have my heart, but it's like, okay, I also play, like I play some pickleball, I play platform tennis, I play table tennis, and like my mom played tennis recreationally years back, and then now she's not playing as much anymore, but she was for a little bit. Like she got super into pickleball, and it was like awesome. And I see a lot of people that don't have a racket and paddle sports background, and they're able to like pick up pickleball and start to play and have fun like very, very quickly. Like I was just in Dallas last week, and my husband Josh taught a pickleball clinic to the on-court, off-court team, and some had played before and some hadn't, and it was just like they had so much fun. It was very very accessible, and I think tennis takes a little bit longer to just be able to start like having fun and playing. So they each have their they're going to appeal to different people in awesome ways, and it's all great because you're getting outside and exercising and socializing, and some people do both, and there's not or more. It's never been like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other sports, like, oh man, you play soccer and volleyball, like, how could you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they don't have that. So I had a question about your website. So obviously, for 30 years, I don't know what version of your website you're on, but it's got to be not the same, obviously. And now I see that one of the most helpful things about your website is when you see a product, there's actually videos like, here's how you open the box, here's how you put it together, here's an idea how you use it. And that's like gold, I think. But if you don't mind, I was going to show you something because, we can nerd out on this tennis stuff. What you're seeing here, I hope, is this is the Pickleball Drills HQ site after I've logged in. So you'll see up in the top, it doesn't say free drills anymore. This is for like what it looks like when someone subscribes. So let me show you the massive difference. And literally as we speak, Kalindi, my Tennis Drills website right here, when someone goes and clicks the singles category, it loads up this video library. This is my video library right here. See how teeny that thumbnail is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now this, let me just pick whatever. Let's do dink drills. And it loads. Oh boy, it's telling me I should log in. I thought I was. So here I am in dink drills. And you can see there's 70 of them, but immediately you can go between 2 and 3 and 4 and 6. Like, hey, it's just going to be me and Kalindi, so I don't need to see everything. I just want to see.
That's really cool.
That's a thing that is now something I do. The other cool thing is you can print the diagrams. Every one of the drills has a diagram. So here, you can't print it from here. You got to go into the drill here, right as you're scrolling. See how much bigger these videos. Compare these video thumbnails to these little teeny things. You can't even tell what the heck it is. So let's say right here, before I even watch that drill, I can just click, and it will literally, boom. So I have 2,000 drills. I have 2,000 tennis drill diagrams, and I have 400 pickleball drills. I have the diagrams, and then see how I'm on number 16. I click here, and this is a pop-up video, and of course I can watch it, big or not. But here's another thing. I can now create endless playlists. I can't do that on tennisdrills.tv. It's all coming because I'm going to switch it over. But if, let's say, this drill Sidewinder, I really like it. So I'm going to add it to Jorge's favorite dink drills. And now it's in there. Or this one, I might say, you know what I want? I'm going to add a new list called Kalindi and say, put it in that list. And now you can make endless lists. Now, I'm nerding out because, by the way, the playlists are up here. So I can make as many playlists as I want, and I can populate them with as many things as I want. None of that exists over here. So guess what I've been doing the last 2 months? Slowly transitioning and doing all this cool new technology and quote, what's frankly better user experience. It's all going to come over to Tennis Drills. The problem I'm having is Tennis Drills is ginormous. It's got, 140 courses. By the way, the lab here, these are actual courses. And I don't think your dad's one is up here yet, but it's going up here. The science of pickleball, man.
Awesome.
And now when you go in here, it's not a drill. Now we're back into courses. And we have our own learning management software where I can go in, and it's how the courses are delivered. They're all over here on the left, and the materials there. So it's really cool how things, frankly, have changed. And I'll stop doing that. But now I'm really excited. I mean, it's a lot of extra work. And obviously I have Kenny, my guy. I'm sure you've met Kenny. He's my full-time employee. And I just swamp him with stuff because now he's tagging. We got to retag 2,000 drills. We got to resort 2,000 drills. I'm taking now I can actually, I'm going to change the way I tag drills because I think I have a better way of searching things. And, but yeah, it's really fun. And now I got a foot in the tennis space and a foot in the pickleball. And I didn't know if the pickleball community, especially the coaches, would accept me. And they have. I mean, they're like, cool. This is like, because when I'm bringing the pickleball, here's what my realization, when I watch pickleball lessons currently, it's a lot of teaching, showing, stopping, a lot of technical instruction, but there's very little drilling, like 4 to 6 people in the court. Here's the purpose, let's do it. Let's let pickleball itself be the teacher, and let's us just do the drill and get lots of touches on the ball. So that's what I'm really good at. So I'm showing these pickleball coaches a lot of these, they're basically converted tennis drills. I now work for pickleball, and they're like, whoa, this is great. You have a champion side and they can be dethroned. Oh, I never thought of that. So a lot of the stuff that is old school for us on the tennis, someone like me that spent that many hours, grinding on the court with group lessons is fitting beautifully with this other space. Yeah, it's amazing.
No, absolutely. And I can relate on like the product side of things, because I feel like there's so many, even just thinking about like our first the portable pickleball net was like, okay, well, we'd already made an excellent portable tennis net, and then we're getting the feedback. And that's sort of happened with some of our training. It's like you mentioned the volley era in tennis that has been around for ages. And, we got interest of like, well, do you have something for pickleball? Because that is something, it's like, I do feel like the pickleball players and coaches, like they would like something for pickleball. Like they don't want to have to try and modify a tennis thing for pickleball. Just like tennis people don't want to try and modify a pickleball thing for tennis.
Speaking of that, you just reminded me of something. I don't even know if I'm showing you this, but obviously we have a partnership. So let me go back to the thing. This is cool for you, Kalindi. So the deals and discounts, right? This is where here's all these products that are basically your products. Arizona, whatever. And what's cool, guys, is if you're a subscriber, you can get a discount. But check this out. It's actually a quick review of how everything works. This one here is super clever. Like it's a sweet spot trainer. You got a little device there. So if you hit it right in that circle there, it works perfectly. And if you're shanking them on the outside, you get real quick audio feedback, like, whoop, that didn't seem right. So that is a really good thing. And I appreciate that partnership, because I know a lot of our people, I don't have that. I don't really want to invent those kinds of products, but I know I use them, and I know a lot of my players and coaches would use them. So we just give them the discount and drive you traffic, and it works beautifully for us. So thank you publicly for that partnership there.
Well, thank you. It's really awesome, especially I feel like as we're going into this, this next era with on-court, off-court, because, my dad's looking to like step back and, kind of shift to more retirement advisory. And, and I'm not him where I'm like on the court, like making these drills. So like, I love partnering with, with you, who that's your specialty. Like I want to share that with our group, and that our training aids can, synergize with that. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. Well, I said it earlier, but I can see why there's the combination, or the connection between on-court, off-court, you, Jorge, and everything you're doing with the drill videos. And yeah, it seems like a really natural fit. So I want to recommend to everybody who's watching this, make sure you head over to tennisdrills.tv, and then pickleballdrillshq.com. Check out Jorge's free drills, get in there, take a look at everything. And please support Jorge. He's a great partner with On-Court, Off-Court. Obviously, he's got a lot of amazing things to share with the community. So Jorge, I thank you very much for joining today. This was a really great talk. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate our friendship and seeing you. I'm sure I'll see you soon at the next coaches conference, whether pickleball and or tennis. But yeah, I appreciate it, and appreciate your support.
Yeah, thanks, Jorge. Thanks, Billy. This was
all right, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next Game Changers. Take care.